Hello and welcome to the Circle of Love and Light. I'm your host, Dr. Jane Mountrose, and I'm really excited to be here today with both of my beautiful co-hosts, Gretchen and Loola Mora. We're all variations on being spiritual coaches, healers, and more things. And I think we're continuously fascinated with how exciting it is that there's always more to explore in what's going on in our reality and in our lives and what the potential is for all of us. So it's exciting. This week, we're going to be talking about opening to the blessings of nature. And I think this is a very significant one too. It's so easy for us with our busy lives to kind of just pass by all the blessings of nature that are around us always, even indoors. I have over here, my beautiful plant. We have, some people say it's like a garden in our house. We have plants all over, and nature is all around us. And so we're excited to have an opportunity to discuss that and what it actually means to us spiritually, and how important it is really to bring that into our daily lives, along with the angels and the masters who we talk about so often. I think that one of our first steps, actually our next steps, is actually to have that awareness of these realities that are present in our lives throughout the day, every day. And it's not like we have to be wondering, but it is, I think, as we open to it, then we just have more of a sense of this multidimensionality of things, and how there's so much more going on all the time than meets the eye. So we're looking forward to a wonderful conversation. We're going to do a special meditation that is about connecting with the four elements and the archangels with that. So stay tuned. As always, I want to thank people for being with us, and please be sure to say hello. Feel free to comment, ask questions, whatever feels right to you. And again, thank you for being emissaries of love and light for the world. I think that along with all these other things, we underestimate how valuable it is for us to stand in our light for ourselves personally and for the world. So the last thing that I want to do before we start, and there's Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Sharon Williamson is here. Yeah. I want to just take a moment. We can all breathe and just bring in the most amazingly wonderful love and light from the universe as we inhale. Just a few beautiful breaths. Releasing anything that feels like it isn't required right now with the exhale. Just coming more into our bodies together. And we may sense the presence of the divine around us. It continues to amaze me how just a few breaths can really help to ground us and bring us together. So welcome. And with that, I'd like to turn to Loola. She was the inspiration for today's topic, and ask you to share a little bit about the value of nature in your life.
First of all, thank you, Jane, and thanks to everyone that is here with us and will actually watch the circle later. Wow, that's a huge topic and beautiful, right, in my opinion. And I want to start since I was a kid, I think I got really early in my life the importance of observation instead of only watching or taking a look fast. And many of the questions I started getting since I was young, many of them were answered through my observation to nature. And that was I think, how I began to connect with nature and with myself in a way. And being able to sit on the grass or to go to other places that were not in the city, because I grew up in a huge city, like very similar to LA, where I'm living right now. So it's a lot of energy all the time, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
being able to go out and to go to a place where was nature all the time give me that opportunity to observe and to learn, you know, and observe myself. For example, seeing a frog, being able to touch it, to see how the frog behaves. Actually, I remember my mom saying, "Why are you bringing so many animals all the time?" I was all the time like looking for things and having relationships with them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
taking care,
Yeah.
you know, and that was my intention. Many times I didn't help, of course, because I was learning, but for me it was very interesting to interact and to see how they approach life, you know, because I was having so many questions. And since I was a kid, I used to have a very active mind. So nature was one of my first vehicles to ground myself, to feel bigger, you know, not only in 3D and here with the body, and like go and have like a more expansive view in many of the uh, senses in a way, you know, like I was able to touch, to smell, to see different things. And for me, yeah, animals, nature, fruits, vegetables. So I have been very connected with them. And I actually learned to buy groceries, like feeling them, that will,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Feeling
like,
the energy.
yeah, like,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
do I feel that this apple is ready? And I remember when I got married that Jorge like was like sometimes like, how do I know? And I was like, you know, I see the color, I like feel the fruit. Doesn't take so much. It's like, okay, I feel it good. Okay, she's ready. Or connection, you know, like, and actually thanking them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's challenging because I was seeing word that way, but other people are in different like speeds and things.
Right.
So
For sure.
that doesn't mean that was all the time amazing for me, because I was like receiving other kind of programming and information. But
Yeah.
today I have in my journey like getting back to that, because I got so many reminders, you know, that I'm getting like disconnected and that I'm like cutting that beautiful relationship that I have built. Because in a way, being an empath and a high sensitive person allows me to do that more easily, you know. So that's what I have conserved during my life. And here I don't want to take so much time, but my message here is that in nature we have a lot of wisdom, a lot of nourishment, a lot of oxygen, you know, like you can go and only taking time watching a scroll when you are walking your dog will bring you to like a present moment where you can feel that you are more than this body living this human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that was exactly like all that I was wanting to say, and bringing that inner child, that curiosity that actually connects us with what it is important into Gaia and modern Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to pass the word to Gretchen, that has a lot to share about the topic too.
Yeah. Yeah. Gretchen has a very deep relationship to nature. So love to hear from you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And I love what Lula says, because I feel like my connection with nature started as a child for me too. And I learned very early on that nature was a place where I could go. I grew up in a very big family. We were 7 of us in one family, and that was often a lot of tension when my sisters and my brother were teenagers. You know, a lot of tension in the house. So nature became kind of the place that I went to calm down, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized it. I don't know if I realized it as a very small child, but I just knew that I felt better being outdoors. And trees were my friends. I was a tree hugger from a little child on up. I had this one tree in particular in our front yard that I was friends with, and I felt like it was friends with me, and it would wait for me, you know, not that trees
Mm-hmm.
move, but that energy was always there for me. And so I felt very similar, I think, to Lula. I really became aware of nature through my five senses. You know, if I could taste it, touch it, see it, hear it, smell it, that made the experience a lot deeper for me. And it really still brings me a deep sense of calm and serenity. And you find solace in nature. It has so many wonderful gifts, and that is the most amazing gift for those of us who are sensitive to energy, is to be able just to go right outdoors and sit with a tree or sit in the
Mhm,
grass,
mhm.
walking your dog, taking a walk, hiking, swimming, whatever it is you do to engage with nature. Do it. You know, that is so healthy for you. It lowers your heart rate, it boosts your energy, it calms your mind, it clears your mind. There's so many wonderful benefits to just being in nature. And yeah, I could go on for hours about it, but but that is essentially, I feel like probably there's many of us that had those first connections as children. Children love to play outdoors, so
Yeah, yeah,
as a kid, that was often, we didn't have video games or anything like that like they do
right.
now. So it's often go play outdoors, and outdoors gave me a sense of freedom. It was a parent permissible place to go. It was a place that I knew I could go, and I didn't have to have my parents looking over me all the time. They would look out the
Mhm.
window and make sure I was, doing what I needed to do. But it still gives me that sense of calm. And there is always that childlike wonder of curiosity in nature and watching things grow and the seasons change, and so many blessings, just so many blessings that nature gives us. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It really is profound too. Um, I've been really focusing more on it recently, and more on understanding how we have the we have the angelic realms and the nature realms, the elemental realms, and then the people like us, the ensouled species, the kind of the people who actually inhabit those realms. Um, the three kingdoms, you could call them. And I've been thinking a lot more about how what our natural relationship is with the elemental realms. The angels are here to support us in a way that is unique because they haven't lost any of their connection with our creator as we have. So they're fabulous reminders to us about our way back to source. Um, the elementals are a bit different. They have that connection to the creator. They also are it is the elemental realms that brings things into form. Like they're the architects, they're the builders, they're the ones that are holding things in their form. And thinking about that, um, I started thinking more about, well, how can we more effectively co-create with them, because they are influenced by our thinking and our perspectives, and can even become tainted, or some people say enchanted, because of the um, the influence of humans. We can also go the other way. So recently, Philip and I, my husband, we went out in our yard, and we actually, the front yard is, I always look over here because our front yard is over there. And it is really we have a small yard. We're not in, we're in a housing area. Um, but it's a very pretty yard. And so we went out there and we asked the nature spirits to create a sacred space in our domain, our small domain, our yard and our house. And very shortly thereafter, right as when I did that, then a gnome showed up. And it made me think of children and their invisible friends, because now I have this gnome, and I talk to him. And I thank him. And it really did change the energy in the space around us. Our front yard is just the most magical place now. And there's this one flowering plant, and it has just the most flowers it has ever had on it. And we have roses and a beautiful birch tree. I love what Gretchen was saying about trees. To connect with all of those things, it's just so magical. And
That's
and then if you ask, well, there are beings, there are elemental beings, there are nature spirits, nature divas, the higher vibrational ones they're out there, and we can start actually creating relationships with them, which to me is like, wow. I actually, when I was a little girl, and this was very young, probably 3 or 4 years old, I can remember when I go to bed at night, there would be all of these elves and fairies around in the room, and they went away after a while. And I've never really gone back to that exactly, but there is magic all around us for sure.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
agree.
So we were thinking we're going to do a meditation with the 4 elements, the elements of nature. Everything within our reality is an aspect of the 4 elements of nature. So we're going to do a meditation on that. I think we're going to do that. Oh, there's Nikki. Hi, Nikki. We're going to do that. Now we're going to do it early because then we have time to talk about it. A lot of times we talk and then we have the meditation more towards the end. It's not the very end, but we want to have time after that to be able to discuss. There's so much profound wisdom and just amazing connections with things that we can draw from the elements of nature. So are you ready for that?
Yes.
Yes. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So we can start as usual. We're going to close our eyes if we're in a place where we can do that for you. And just again, breathe in more love and light from the universe. And release again anything that is not natural to you, that is not part of your nature, or anything that is stuck energy that you can just let go of. So you can feel clearer with each breath. Sending that love and light to any place in your body that might feel tense or stiff, or where you sense the energy needs a little bit of support. And of course, all around you, sending that love and light to all of the layers of your energy field. That beautiful ball of light around you. And asking any energy that is not your own, that came from other people, other times and places, just send it back lovingly where it came from. This creates more space for you, for your own energy to be more present. And of course, we can fill that space by asking any energy of our own that we've left in other times, places, or with other people. Just ask to have it come back to you now. You may actually feel it. I always feel that, that energy coming in, which is so interesting. And then you might just note how you feel in your body in the moment now compared with when we started. Just very simple centering. And of course, connecting with the love that we hold in our hearts, just breathing that love and light from the universe into the area around your heart. And noting a little light in your heart that becomes brighter as you breathe more love into it. Allowing it to radiate out from your heart all through your body. All of the cells love love. So we can just imagine all of the cells receiving love and light, and allowing that light to radiate out also all around your energy field. And then just imagining yourself that you're now out in nature, maybe in a beautiful field where you can see all around you. You can see all of the directions around you. We're going to invite in the archangels of the 4 directions. So we're going to start with the east, which is where the sun rises. The east is related to the element of air. And the archangel who is considered to be connected with that is Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. And he is often experienced as a beautiful emerald green light. So you can ask him to make his presence known to you, to feel his energy around you. And you can just notice, if you relate to color, just that beautiful emerald green light, beautiful healing light all around you and flowing into your body. And of course, all of the archangels are love, their own unique version of love. So as we allow ourselves to embrace that energy, whatever it is from them, it lifts us, it lifts our vibration so that we can come closer to them. And of course, the just connecting with Raphael and the air element in the direction of east. Gretchen, would you like to share a little bit about that?
Sure. The East is often seen as a place of new beginnings, which is why it's often associated with the sunrise, the
Mhm.
dawning sun, or the time of dawn. And it's a transition point, like most new beginnings. We go from the darkness into the light. So it's a beautiful way to kind of experience East. And it's also representative of not just new beginnings, but also of illumination, of inspiration. It often is associated with the mental faculties of our body, or our mental wellness.
Mhm.
And yeah, so there are a lot of beautiful ways. Things that are communication is another thing too. These are all aspects of the air element, communication and movement, and the stirring up of new ideas and new beginnings.
Mm. Yeah, and it reminds me of how it feels like we want to start our day on the right track, like to put our minds in the right places, our minds and our hearts, of course. But if you look at that in relation to the air element, or I should say, and if you look at that in relation to the air element, it is a time to set your intentions for the day. And I think that that's beautiful, that there is that kind of fluid energy to the elements, how they flow through the day. So we can feel that energy again, and then connect in the south with Archangel Michael. And the south is related to the fire element. And Archangel Michael, who is often experienced as a beautiful electric blue light, being associated with the blue ray, the first ray, for those who are familiar with the rays. So we can invite Archangel Michael to join us. And he also is connected with power and protection and strength and endurance. So the fire element, and it's all connected there. Gretchen, would you like to share on that?
Sure. The fire element is often associated with the inner passion, or the inner flame that we carry in our heart and soul. And so it often fuels that courage that we need to take the next step. And
Mhm.
it's often associated with the midday sun. So that's the middle of our day, when we may have heightened energy, as well as needing that, like you said, strength and protection that we need in order to manifest the things that we want in our life. So it gives us the energy behind it. The fire is also symbolic of that energy that we need to transmute things that we no longer need in our life, that are preventing us from moving forward. And that also empowers our courage and our strength as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting moving then from that time of planning, that mental period, into the action period. It is also through the fire element. The fire element is creation. Without light, there is no creation. So it is the brightest time of the day. It's so beautiful. And from there, we go to the west. We're going later in the day as the light is waning. And this is the water element in the west. and it is associated with the Archangel Gabriel, or Gabriel, some people say, and is experienced both as masculine and feminine energies in different situations by different people. And Gabriel is the angel associated with communication, God's messenger. So you could say getting our messages to God and opening to the message of what our life is about communication and creation. So we're turning more inward at this time of day, and often associated with a beautiful pearly white light. So you can surround yourself with this beautiful pearly white light as you invite Gabriel in. And Gretchen, would you like to share on this one?
Sure. So the West is also representative of dusk, or that transition period again between day and night, and it's also associated with the unconscious and the emotional field. So it's ruled by the emotions, and it's also representative of the fluidity of our emotions and the necessity of allowing our emotions to flow. We don't want to dam up our emotions, which causes blocks and obstacles in our life, but actually to feel our emotions and to move through them as if they were water. And it also has a strong association with the moon and lunar energy, as well as just going with the flow of life. So I kind of like to see that the dusk time is kind of representative of the end of our day, maybe the end of our work day, and just allowing whatever happened throughout the day just to flow through us, and not to get caught up on damming it up in any way, but just to allow that flow. So it really is about the flow of life and the flow of our emotions.
Yeah, so beautiful. And of course, just going all the way around then to the north and creating that continuous circle with the four directions there. We have the earth element, and that one is connected with Archangel Uriel. So we can invite Archangel Uriel to join us, often experienced as very earthy, very earthy tones. Just beautiful earthiness. And of course, now it's in the darkness of night if you're relating it to the clock. Just grounded. And Uriel is very helpful, being grounded with bringing spirit into form, of connecting with those things that are earthly in our lives. And Gretchen, you want to share on this?
Sure. So the direction of north, or the element of earth, is the place where all things are birthed. So in that darkness, underneath the soil, is where a seed is starting to germinate and grow. So from that place, it's also representative of our physical bodies, where there are all these processes that kind of take place in the dark within our bodies. There's a beautiful level of grounded and centeredness energy that comes in through this, and how the darkness is a place of rest, but it's also a place of rebirth. So it gives us not only the energy of being grounded and centered, but it is a place where things start over again. It's a place where we can tune into that darkness and not be afraid, but actually know that there are seeds growing within us that need to grow in that darkness. That's what they need at first. They're too delicate to be exposed to light immediately. So that's where our hopes and our dreams are incubating to come forth into the light of the East when we come full circle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, as you were saying that too, it reminded me of how you can also associate the four directions with the seasons of the year.
Yes.
Where in the north, we're starting with winter, where things are just starting to germinate. Things are letting go, things are dying away, and then new things are germinating, moving into the east in the spring, where now the new ideas are emerging. And the summer, when we put them into action. And then moving into the fall, where we can reflect on the harvest. and then back into the north. So everything, I think one of the things that this shows us is how everything truly is connected in nature and with ourselves, with the way we think and act. And I'm curious, Lula, if you want to add any insights to that.
Yeah, actually, I'm getting all the time the word and the sensation of balance and perfection of the
Mhm.
universe.
Right.
And yeah, in my personal experience, sometimes I feel that I'm imbalanced, but what I'm feeling today is that part of being in balance is get not that feeling that I'm so balanced, like that saying of you need to get lost to find yourself again, something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like the perfection of the universe,
Mhm.
and that we are that same perfection,
Right. Yeah.
and that if I keep going against that nature flow that is actually my truth, I will keep suffering. So yeah, it's understanding the cycles, and,
Mhm.
and
Right.
honoring them so I can
Mhm.
honor my cycles too,
Right.
and integrating the elements in me
Mhm.
so I
Right.
can be a vessel for earth and the universe and the divine plan.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, it's like feeling whole. that's
Mhm.
that's the sensation, and knowing how important is to allow those cycles to be,
Mhm.
because without one is challenging to get the other complete.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's what I'm actually getting, and I'm having a
Mhm.
lot of support from nature and beautiful beings, and I feel
Mhm.
I sense all the lights. And actually, when we went to north, I start feeling the smell of humidity, in like forest and grass,
Mhm.
and I was so inspired, like yeah, because
Yeah.
normally I was like used to say that winter was not my season, but slowly I'm finding and actually being very happy with each of the seasons, and learning from my seasons too,
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
personal seasons.
Yeah.
So my main sensation here is like everything is perfect and is
Right.
in its
Yeah.
own rhythm, and
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. So
yeah, it's
beautiful.
allowing me
Right.
to
Yeah.
be myself.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, and in
thank
this
you.
moment now, thank
Yeah.
you. In this moment now, I feel like there's magic around me.
Oof,
Like when you
absolutely.
this is another thing when you make that connection with all of them and put them into harmony with each other, it's magic.
Absolutely.
That's just what I'm feeling right now. And
And
it
you say
also
that, and
what's
all the
that?
fairies, you mentioned that, and all the fairies that I actually connect with very
Mhm.
thankfully easily are there, like, yay. Like, okay, only
Yeah,
mention us.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
magic.
I think this is another thing. They deserve our appreciation.
Mhm.
Exactly.
When I go through our yard now and down the street when we walk, I express gratitude to all of the trees and everything that's around me. And I
Mhm.
did want to mention one other thing that we can also, this is what some people call the horizontal plane. We can also look at the vertical balance between heaven and earth, with Archangel Metatron being one of the archangels that are closest to our Creator, just asking for a beautiful blessing of light from Metatron. And his light is very, very beautiful, often experienced to me as a golden white radiant light. We can feel blessed by that now, surrounding us and in our bodies, the cells of our bodies, light from the Creator. And balancing that with the energy from the earth associated with Archangel Sandalphon. And of course, Mother Earth herself is there, just bringing up that energy from the earth. Beautiful earthy energy. And we can feel that there's a cycle between heaven and earth, and we're in perfect balance in between, just receiving both. Feels even more magical. Lots of magic.
Wow.
It does.
Gretchen, anything else that you're noticing?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned the above and below, because in many traditions, including Native American traditions, they actually honor the four elements, but they also honor what's known as above, below, and within. And above is the heavens, below is the lower kingdoms, and within is our spirit. So we are amalgamations of all of the elements. We embody all the elements. We have earth within us, fire within us, air within us, and water within us. And without the elements, we wouldn't exist. So that right there is enough to honor them, but to understand that we are the amalgamation of all of those. We have the divine spark of the heavens. We have the earthiness of the lower kingdoms. We have all of the elements within us. So it's just a beautiful way to kind of honor it and allow it to come full circle, with all of those.
And just, it feels to me, when I think about being in that perfect balance between heaven and earth, there's something just really, I guess, reassuring about that. Just, it feels very comforting to me. Loola, anything from you on that?
Wow. There's a lot, but I want to share. Yeah, there's a lot happening in my personal experience right now, but Metatron, when you invite him, I perceive him, I think many of all the times that I connect with him and I allow him to be with me, because he's always there, but sometimes I'm not conscious about it.
Right.
I always sense him with beautiful wings, beautiful wide wings. So my sensation is all the time that he comes and it's like rain, like would shower us with that beautiful, intense white light. And I feel like hug with his wings. So was beautiful when you said, because I start feeling how we were all the time protected and supported by God, and he's bringing that love. It's like, it's okay, and that's the perfection, and everything is okay, everything is in perfect balance. And yeah, lighting that sparkling again in myself, in my heart, and inviting me to spread, it's actually inviting me all the time to be my true nature,
Right.
observing that flower and understanding that that flower is there and it's beautiful. It's like believe on that, and believe, work with that intention, and I'll help and allow others to experience the same. That's what I'm getting when I feel
Right.
that complete balance. And I love that you mentioned, as Gretchen said, about heaven and earth, because it for me is like the yin and yang, is that balance, is like that
Right.
equilibrium all the time. So takes away that pressure of darkness being not okay, and understand that that is part of the whole. So takes out a lot of mental pressure, and
Right.
it's beautiful. It's actually I have, again, they were back to basics, or back to one, just when you are filming a movie, it's getting reset, come back here, observe, nature is your master.
So beautiful. And I think you used the term being held. When you said that, I felt, I feel that like calmness, being in that place between heaven and earth. And it is like I'm being held. So beautiful. So all of us can feel, and when we do a process like this, we have an opportunity to see ourselves in perfect place in relation to the four elements around us, in relation to heaven and earth. That we don't know it, or many times we don't know it, I should say, that we are in the perfect place in this moment.
Yeah, and actually I'm getting animal spirit, fairy realm, element realm, only wanting to say hi, to invite us to explore. If you feel cold and have some kind of curiosity, to explore
Right.
and find what is connecting you right now. You change, so you can change. And maybe past month you feel really connected with animal kingdom, or to find like how you can get lessons or inspiration from there. But it's like everything is changing all the time, so you change. So if
We're in a
there's a day
flow.
that exactly explore, flow,
Yeah.
you learn from everything. And it's like, it's like, again, as I got last Sunday, is like owning my beauty, so I can actually honor the beauty of earth and nature and Gaia and God and everything that is, because I'm part of everything.
Right.
I'm that little spark.
Yeah, we all are. It's really beautiful. Thank you. So I think that this is a place to remember, and remember that you can come back here and make these connections again with these beautiful beings of light, who we can also thank, and we can thank all of the elements of nature. Just great gratitude to all. I recently have in the end, when I'm acknowledging the beings around me, I also say I love you. I think we minimize the value of expressing our love back. We receive the love, and we don't realize that it is meaningful even to the archangels for us to express our love to them. Love and gratitude. So with that, I'd like us to shift our focus to being in our seats. But I kind of in that out there place in perfect balance between heaven and earth, which we still are in our seats. We can feel our feet on the ground, connecting to Mother Earth, recognizing that all of these forces of nature, they are here to support us if we have that intention and create that kind of connection with them. So we can again thank nature and start breathing in more active energy, just bringing ourselves back to our normal waking states. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Oh, I turned so much.
Ooh. There are tears of joy.
That was so beautiful. Thank you both for participating. It was so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to share one interesting thing too, is that if you look at the symbol for the heart chakra, it actually has 3 points up and 3 points down. It looks like a star, almost like the Star of David. That's symbolic of as above, so below. Our heart is the center of our chakra system. And so it's actually, it is the center point. So I think that's so meaningful because it really is the place of balance. When we're in our heart, so the symbol also, expresses that, but it's a beautiful reminder to see that symbol, to realize as above, so below. What that saying means is, whatever happens in heaven is reflected in earth and vice versa. And so we can take heart in that, knowing that everything is in perfect balance all the time. We are exactly
Right.
where we need to be all the time, despite our challenges or our joys. It's still exactly what needs to be. So it's just a beautiful reminder to me, when I look at that symbol of the heart chakra, to know that here in the center of me is where perfect balance can happen. So
Mhm.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting anatomically with the 7 chakras, and also just if you look at the top and bottom, this is it right here. And we know it too. People,
right.
I love it even on TV to see people, they'll say something that's meaningful to them and they'll
Yes.
put their hands on their hearts. They're not doing it consciously, but
Right.
but there is a knowingness of that this is it. This is us. This is the soul in us. The soul in us comes in here and expresses itself through the heart.
And I love the
My heart
question
is
that
feeling
you
very warm too, just by the
right, exactly. I
it's
love the
feeling really warm right now.
right, how we identify with ourselves. One
Interesting.
of the
Very, very
questions you had
warm.
asked,
Oh,
one of
go
the
ahead.
questions, I'm sorry.
No, that's
One of
okay.
the
I just
questions
got
you had asked,
fascinated here.
asked it is fascinating. It's interesting to make all these connections. It just feels, it feels like things lock into place like a puzzle. But I love how you asked many months ago, I think in one of the circles, when you ask somebody, even a child, to point to yourself, where do you point to? You point to your heart. It's
Mhm.
just an automatic connection that I don't think a lot of people are conscious of, but you don't point to your arm.
No,
You don't
or
point
your
to your
head.
head.
We associate.
Right,
Like it's like again.
right. Yeah,
My head.
this is me. Yeah, you wouldn't do that. But even children get it. Even children are aware of
Oh,
this. This
especially
is all
children.
of
Yeah.
us. Yeah, this
Mm.
is where we begin and end. So it's a beautiful reminder, that we're exactly where we need to be.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love this because actually, if you watch the replay, when we were at the end of our meditation, I placed my hands on my heart because I was needing it. I was feeling so much love that I needed to place my hands there, like to hold all that love. And
Mhm.
tears of joy were coming because
Wow.
all the realms were there. I saw all the beings in front, like there, all that legion of beings supporting us. And I couldn't resist, and I was needing to place my hands, and tears were coming. And then you were talking about heart chakras. I was like, it's like magic all the time. It's like, what?
Yeah. And it
Beautiful.
is true. I mentioned that there's a light in our heart. This is where the creator exists in us. And it is there is actually a flame in our heart that is the creator in us. So it is not actually just a theory that we are creators and that we are God in a way. I don't like the idea I am God. It's kind of like it starts to sound like it's egotistical. I think it's more like God is blessing me. Oh, I have to show you. We use oracles a lot. We were not going to have time for one today, but this is one I drew this morning that I often ask for an angel to connect, and this is what I got.
Wow.
This is Divine Father. It's too close. This is such a beautiful, beautiful image. And I think we think of Divine Mother, where there is a need for obviously a need for the feminine, but I thought this inner power, the Divine Father, I thought that was so beautiful.
That's also
And
the heart chakra image overlaid many times. It looks like, it's a much
Yeah.
bigger
It's
symbol.
expanded, is how I
Yeah,
felt
it's
it.
expanded.
Yeah.
Right. It's beautiful.
just
Wow.
I think that card is just amazing. I
Oof.
haven't ever seen it before, or it hasn't come up. I I have this deck, but I haven't actually seen that one. And it is the heart, the threefold flame is power, truth, and love.
Mhm.
So it's all there.
And
Anyhow, that's a lot on
of
nature.
information, yeah. And
Yeah,
I
We got,
think we
I guess, the big picture.
haven't mentioned something that I think is important to share, and is actually, I see, and I think you too, our heart is a bridge, that
Right.
connects the lower
Yeah.
centers with the higher centers.
Right.
And that saying of go to your temple, go to your master, that is going to your heart. And when you said about not feeling very comfortable saying that I'm God, but what helps me is that part of me that has God inside, or something like that.
The creator resides within me. I
Exactly.
mean, that's another way to say it. That
and
sounds a
and
little
and
more
that
balanced. Maybe.
change exactly completely how I feel like authentic when I say that self, because it helps me not to connect with my ego, like, and release it a lot, and helps me like to feel connected. So yeah, because we are a little particle of that big, uh, self, let's call it that. Well, so when I call it that way, I feel really that I'm that little sparkle from that big one, self, and helps me to feel connected, that I belong, that I'm part of something.
Right.
And
Which is true.
exactly,
Your heart
tap to
knows.
that truth. and
Right.
and sometimes get, and it's something that I can do anytime. I don't need to connect with anything that is outside me, or an element that helps me. It's only going inside. That sounds really easy, and all the people say it, but really feeling it and connected the way that works for you, I think that's what we need to find. Because everyone has different, we're unique. So it's finding that unique, yeah, that uniqueness in you. And
Right.
yeah, that's has been a lot of the information that I have been getting, and receiving, and like that I know that is first for myself, but I can imagine that there are people resonating with me, and having similar experience, so maybe that will help them in their journeys.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
You both.
Feels so beautiful.
Oof.
And it is something just that we might want to maybe close this part, the final part, actually, before we talk about how you can learn more about what we're doing, with just maybe one simple suggestion of something people can do to connect with nature. Would you like to share, Gretchen?
Sure. I think one of the best ways to connect with nature is to follow the seasons, and to just allow the things that feel natural to you in that season. So, we don't plant our gardens in the winter time. If you live in the northern hemisphere,
Not too smart.
right, experience a strong winter. So, there is a time, for every season turn, so we need to just keep that in mind. But I think if we can do that, if we can just take time every day to just go outside for a few minutes, and just to focus in on something that's in front of you, I think is a great way to connect with nature. It could be in the microcosm under your feet. You could watch ants, going up a tree. You can watch bees on a flower. Those are the kinds of things that not only bring us to the present moment, but also deepen our connection.
Yeah, thank you.
Love it.
Loola?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a little bit approach for people that live in big cities, like I do. Many of us, I have thankfully a balcony, so I have my plants there. I have also indoor plants because I need them. For me, it's really important. But there are little things sometimes, like only watching through your window and finding a tree, and watching the tree for 5 minutes. Set your timer and observe. That will make you actually present. That will take you out of what you are doing, really. If you have more time or plans at home, like, what's your plan? What is new in your plan? Is there a new leaf? What's happening in the soil? Do you see any fly flying around? Like, little things that sometimes we ignore, and they're actually sometimes coming to invite us to take a break. I know I want to bring a little bit of joy and laughter here, and it's like sometimes we're having a challenge with a fly at home, for example. A fly get inside your place.
Mhm.
Or like if you observe, you need to stop everything you are doing to deal with the fly. So it's a very magical and wise way of nature to bring you to another state. And I can tell that I'm that human that don't like flies, and I get a little bit, I don't know where the fly was, and I need to bring her out of my place. But in that order of ideas, I manage the thing, and I stop what I'm doing, and I'm taking care of what I need to do. So
Right.
they don't need to be very elaborated,
Right.
They're
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can
and
bring.
that's the,
We don't have to make everything into this like huge thing that we
exactly.
need.
Right.
So maybe next time that you see a fly, you will remember me and you will laugh and try to find that uncomfortable moment as an opportunity to take a break and to actually say thanks to that fly that came and bother you for a little bit. And
Right.
yeah, as Gretchen said, the aunt, or if you have a pet, for example, sometimes we get so in autopilot that we don't take enough time to see, to observe our pet, and maybe we find that they have something that we haven't seen, a stain or a little thing. Oh, look at she has this little, I don't know, different color here in the hair, or it's like
Mhm.
taking
Right.
time to enjoy
Yeah.
little
Just
things,
notice.
little
Yeah.
little things,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that will actually give you a lot of freedom. That's the word, freedom,
Yeah.
for those little
Yeah.
times.
Look at the little things. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the message I want to share, because it's what I'm receiving for me.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Thank
I
you.
want to make things so big and so
Right.
impactful, and I complicate myself.
Well, we're wanting to make them small now. So,
Yeah, simple,
yeah.
simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And something simple that I've been doing that I find actually is surprisingly profound. And I think I, well, I'll tell you, I communicate with trees, and just we have trees up and down our street, lots of different kinds of trees. And you think, well, a tree is a tree. It actually isn't.
Mhm.
Different trees have very different characters. And of course, each tree is unique in itself. Um, and I do like to spend time like this birch tree that we have out front. I just love that tree. And we have a lemon tree out in the back. We have several other trees too, but I love the lemon tree. Just spending time. I go sit out in the sun sometimes in the afternoon, and I sit in a place where I can look at the lemon tree. And you could just ask if they want to communicate with you. You can hug them. You can, we have a park with a lot of really big pine trees. It's just interesting, like experiencing the world through trees. It's just one thing, but that's what it is. One thing that I'm really enjoying right now, and they're so grounding, also, which is nice for most of us who are not so grounded ourselves. So, with that, Gretchen, would you like to tell people how they can find out more about what you're up to these days?
Sure. Thank you, Jane. People can connect with me on my website, spiraljourney.net, that has the most comprehensive list of all of my services. And right now I'm offering several different programs online. I also have a page of free things that you can engage with, download, watch, listen to. And so, yeah, I love to connect with people. You can also connect with me here on Facebook at Gretchen Comer or Spiral Journey Holistic Life Services. So please reach out.
Thank you. And Lula?
Yes, thanks, Jane, again. And yeah, people can connect with me through social media and on Instagram with Loola with two O's, Loola, Mora, Mora, and the same in Facebook. Yeah, right now I'm more focused working on one-to-one programs, but I'm working in some surprises that I will launch soon. So I can like actually help more people at the same time. And I would love to connect. I don't have a webpage right now. because I'm working in some changes. So through social media, and yeah, I think there's beautiful things to share, but everyone needs different things. So I would love to connect and to answer questions. So it's only like to share some things.
Wonderful. Thank you. And for Awakenings Institute, sponsor of the Circle of Love and Light, it's a nonprofit organization that's devoted to creating a more loving world. And we have a couple things: a free resource kit for light workers, spiritual healers, and wayshowers on our website. I'm giving you a tiny URL because the URLs are long. tinyurl.com/spiritual kit. We also have a book called The Solution, Make a Difference and Change the World with the Power of Love, which is free. We want to get that out to as many people as possible, and maybe pass it out to friends who maybe wouldn't think of that as being important, but it is, love is healing. It's a wonderful thing for anyone to improve their lives. And of course, it's the thing we need most to change the world. So that's tinyurl.com/444. That's the number 443 times. 444-solution. So, and if you want to support the circle, you can follow our page on Facebook. It's facebook.com/awakening circle. You can share our videos with your friends, get the word out further, and invite friends to join you in the circle. Then you might have something to talk about. And the final thing we do every time is just imagine sending some of this beautiful love and light that we've been accumulating today out into your future. You can send it to the past too, and all around. Just so that you know that you have a week of love and light waiting you. So have a wonderful week, and we'll look forward to connecting with you again, hopefully next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.